I started my current role about 2-3 months ago, which has been going really well. But I actually joined CUH about 10 years ago as an apprentice in A&E. Towards the end of my time in A&E, I got involved in what eventually became the Open Mind Staff Network, doing mental health campaigning. And then by the time I reached haematology oncology, I had started getting involved active in Unison as a steward and an LGBT plus officer. And it all kind of led into becoming more involved in the LGBT plus network, the Purple network when that was developed, and just very much caring about equalities. And I think I enjoy having a very clear sense of direction in what I'm doing. And there is a lot to do, but I don't find that daunting. I find that exciting, like all of these different projects and all these different work streams that are going on that I have to help organise, and minuting and things like that is the basic stuff, but also the background, sorting out the actions, helping Monica, Elise, Erica, all of the people currently on the EGI team. And I think just like the way our team works is really nice, like although obviously there is a hierarchy because of how job bands work, it doesn't feel that way. It does feel like we're all on the same equal grounding, we can all have open discussions. I have a rare disease called Sappho syndrome, which means that I have chronic bone and joint pain. It took about 4 years to get that diagnosis, so during that time it was completely untreated. There were some issues within the workplace at the time because there was no diagnosis. It took a couple of years trying different treatments to find out what worked, and I had things like ergonomic wrist rest, the ergonomic mouse, things like that. We realised that the treatments that we had been doing, we were doing bone infusions, they weren't working anymore, and I was at risk of losing core bone. In the middle of the pandemic, I had to start immunosuppressive treatment, and I'm now on weekly methotrexate injections, and my pain level is the best it's been in a very long time because of those. So, and they're working, that's the main thing. I want to say about 4 or 5 years ago, I was formally diagnosed with ADHD, which I had suspected that I had for quite a few years. I didn't realise how important the work environment I was in mattered until the pandemic hit, and then suddenly we were home working most of the time, and it suddenly became that much harder to maintain focus, to concentrate on what I was doing, which is when I asked, we adapted my hours slightly, so I still did 22.5, but they were shorter over 4 days. If you have a long-term health condition of any kind, you are technically protected by the Equality Act, but in order for that to be effective in the event that something goes wrong, you need to have made your managers aware of it. The other thing is that your manager can then help you with referrals to occupational health to start that discussion of what reasonable adjustments would benefit from you. And another thing is to consider looking at the Purple Passport, which is a document that lets you track down what your health conditions are, how you look on a good day, how you look on a bad day, the agreed reasonable adjustments that you need, the agreed sort of level of support that you need from managers and colleagues. And the best bit about it is that it will follow you around the organisation. So if, like me, you end up working in multiple departments, you don't have to go through the same long discussion with your new manager. You can just say, by the way, on my personal file there is a Purple Passport, please read it so you understand what it is that I am going through and how best to support me if I have a bad day. I also have seasonal affective disorder, and a big part of my Purple Passport is talking through how to support me during the winter months, because that's when I will be at my worst effectively, where I might need more day-to-day reminders of the things I need to focus on, where I might be more likely to want to do working from home days if I'm feeling really, really rough in the morning because I've just had a week of terrible sleep. So these are all things that go into that document that mean that I don't have to necessarily sit down and have an hour-long discussion with my manager